And we are live on another Wednesday night, November 17th. A little The K&K Sports Show. Kurt Valenti, Mr. Siciliano, and Mr. Kirkpatrick. How are you, Mr. Siciliano?
Very good. Just tagging my people.
Tagging your people. What's
Be
going
with you in a
on?
minute. Yep.
And
Not
Mr.
much. Getting ready for the show.
Mr. Kirkpatrick, how about you?
Doing good. I almost forgot the most important thing, my eyeglasses. I left them on the bookcase behind me, so I'm ready to roll,
All right, real quick, let me get a couple comments. David Slade, Rocky Mountain Sports Report. Good evening, K&K crew. Hope you're doing well. Henry Zimenoff, can I get F's in the chat, please, for Trevor Story's 5 years? They're with the Rockies that officially ended today. Mr. Our good friend, you say his last name, I say Ricky L.
Ricky Winkowicz.
There you go. What's up, boy?
Pipe Bomb Radio.
Small crew tonight. We got a small crew right now, but we're gonna start bringing some people in. We'll start bringing.
Yeah, we got
them
some
in.
special guests. We're gonna bring them in throughout the night. We got some things going.
All right, let's get to this. Let's go opening statement, Mr. Kirkpatrick. Start us off.
Yeah, let's. For those of us who are from New Jersey, we have. I want to just have a little quick moment of silence. A good person and coach, legendary high school coach Drew Gibbs, tragically, suddenly passed away unexpectedly Monday afternoon, right, Kurt? Was it Monday afternoon?
Yesterday morning, Tuesday morning.
Yesterday morning. So I just want to, condolences to the Ramapo family, the Gibbs family, and on behalf of K&K Sports Show, we just want to have a moment of silence for the Gibbs family and Coach Gibbs. Thank you, everybody. And just a quick note on the Ramapo football team is going for a state title. They will be playing Northern Highlands, I believe. Kurt,
Yes, next week. The game got moved to next week, so it's a nice gesture.
Good for the state of New Jersey for pushing that game back. Hats off to them. I do want to bring our first guest in, Kurt. I'm going to let you introduce him.
Okay.
I'm going to bring him in right now. There he is, connecting to his audio. Kurt, I'll let you introduce our guest.
All right, our guest tonight is, I am so pumped and happy to have him. He is James Merilatt from 104.3 The Fan in Denver. Thank you, James, for joining us tonight.
No problem, fellas. Thanks for having me.
And you know what? I'm so happy because we're actually from Jersey, James, and I'm a diehard Bronco fan, been since Elway in '83. So I've seen a lot of good and I've seen a lot of bad, and this is bad right now. And my friend over here, Mr. Kirkpatrick, has been against me with the Teddy Bridgewater, but I listen to you every day. When I listen to you, I'm like, this man's on the money. Fangio's got to go. Bridgewater's got to go. And so Kenny's going to be coming at us. A couple of our other friends in Rocky Mountain Sports Report or Bridgewater guys, but I'm not. So the floor is yours, and I'll just start by saying nice and easy. Why am I right when I say on this show, James, that Fangio and Bridgewater should have went 2 weeks ago, last week, tomorrow, or next week? Why am I right?
Well, if you start with Vic Fangio, he never should have been back this year. We saw in his first two seasons that from season 1 to season 2, the problems that plagued him in his first year as a head coach, they didn't go away. They didn't get corrected. He still has issues with managing people, taking accountability, managing in-game situations, timeouts, challenges, whatever the case may be. That's part of it. The other part of it is he's supposed to be a defensive guru. They go into the season with the most expensive defense in football for the second straight year, and it's a defense that doesn't do anything that comes anywhere close to dominating football games, right? Like, if you build your team on, hey, we're going to have a great defense and we want to have a game manager at quarterback that just doesn't make mistakes, well, the defense has to be great. They have to dominate. They have to give them a short field. They have to score some points on their own, those kind of things, the kind of things we saw in 2015 with the Broncos when they did have a great defense. They haven't come anywhere near that, and they haven't come anywhere near that in 2.5 years, and people will make excuses about injuries and these kind of things. Look, the Vic Fangio defense wasn't good when they had Bradley Chubb and Von Miller both on the field together. They aren't good when they're banged up. They aren't good when they're healthy. They're never good. So that's the first part of it. Vic Fangio has shown no ability to handle that job and to be a successful head coach. So I think that one's a no-brainer. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a little bit more of a question mark. I'm not a Teddy guy because I don't believe you're going to be able to win year after year after year and be a perennial contender with a journeyman quarterback. And we've seen that in Denver for 6 years, right? Pick whatever guy you want. Trevor Siemian, Joe Flacco, Case Keenum, Teddy Bridgewater. Game manager that as long as everything sticks to script and it's 2nd and 4, he's fine. But anytime you have a negative play or you get behind the sticks and down in distance, he just can't make anything happen. And to me, it's the HOV lane to nowhere. The goal isn't to go 8-9, 9-8, play meaningful games in November and December. The goal is to be on a trajectory that you can see getting to a championship level team. You're never going to get there with Teddy Bridgewater.
I totally agree, and I heard
there's a reason he's on 15.
I totally agree with you, and I heard you just with D-Mac and Tyler on before we went on, and do you really think there's a chance that, I know you said 8-9, 9-8, do you really think that Fangio could be back next year?
I do. I do. I think when you listen to George Payton in the press conference after they trade Von Miller, and he talks about 4-4 and everything's in front of us, and man, that team, they won down in Dallas, and everybody in that organization is taking the victory lap. Like, see, we told you, we're good. I mean, they have a lofty sense of self over there. And I think if they get to 8-9, 9-8, 2 reasons you'd stay. One, I think they will talk themselves into, hey, we improved by 3.5 games, 4.5 games. I mean, we're heading in the right direction. Let's see where this goes. The other part of it is everybody said they didn't get rid of him last year because, well, they didn't have an owner in place. They got to get that rectified. They're not going to have a new owner until summertime at the earliest. So they're certainly not going to have one the day after the season ends on January 10th when they have to decide if they're firing Vic Fangio and then start interviewing guys and who they're going to bring in. So I think unless it just falls apart after the bye, which I do think is going to happen, unless it's just an absolute disaster and they finish 6-11, 7-10, I think there's a really good chance he'll be back.
Kenny, you can take ahead for James.
James, Kenny Kirkpatrick, thanks for joining our show. I lived in New Jersey. I'm here in Maryland now. I'm not a Broncos fan. I'm a Giants fan. I was a local fan, long-suffering Giants fan. But what I'm noticing from Bronco fans, and I don't know if it's like that in Colorado, but I see it from our friends Dave Slade, Matt Steffiero. They have a great podcast called Rocky Mountain Sports Report. And I told them I would, they wanted to open an invite for you to go on their show sometime. They're local. They do a great job. But what I noticed a lot on their shows is fans, and Kurt, you as well. Last week, I should say 2 weeks ago, when you beat Dallas, you all had Denver winning the division, and Teddy Bridgewater was great, and Fangio was great. Now you have a letdown against Philly, and you're all are turning. I don't want to say all because that's the wrong word to use, but fans are turning on him again. It's like a seesaw, and you're going one way, you're going the other way, and I'm seeing a lot of that. I'm not seeing a lot of blame on the defense, James. I don't know if it's like that out in Denver area, but I'm seeing not a lot of blame on the defense, and I'm seeing most of the blame on Teddy Bridgewater. And of course, by not tackling Slay last week, that opened up a can of worms. And like I explained to people, his injury history, I think maybe, a lot of coaches might say, stay away from somebody if they're running at you full speed. We don't want you to get hurt. But I just wanted your thoughts, like, why is Teddy Bridgewater getting blamed and not as much the defense?
Well, I mean, the quarterback always gets the blame, but I'm with you. The defense should get the lion's share of the blame. Like, that's the group that is supposed to help this team win. I mean, if you look at what their recipe was heading into the year, for the most part, Teddy Bridgewater's kind of done what they wanted him to do, right? He hasn't turned the ball over a ton. They went into the year with this notion, and it's an ill-conceived notion, but they went into the season with this notion that any drive that ends in a kick, even if it's a punt, is a good one because we're just going to rely on our defense. This defense has done nothing. I mean, they've been so disappointing. They make very few plays. They force very few turnovers. That's been the recurring thing during the Vic Fangio era. They essentially average one forced turnover per game in the 2.5 years he's been here. That's just not getting it done. They never give the offense a short field. They never really help him out. So that's been a big problem. I think the defense has been the biggest disappointment. I just think, for fans, it's easy to point at the quarterback. It's easy to see what Patrick Mahomes is doing and Justin Herbert is doing and, Derek Carr and other guys in the division and say, well, our guy's not doing that. But you got to go back and remember at the beginning of the season, that wasn't the formula. That wasn't the plan. It wasn't for Teddy Bridgewater to run all over the place. So that's why I say I think he's a little bit more of a question mark, because for what he was brought in here to do, he's done it. Now, I didn't like that move because I didn't think that was a good formula. I didn't think it would work. It's just it's the same one we've seen for 5 years, just a different quarterback. And we're getting the exact same result, which shouldn't surprise anybody. But if you made me rattle off, hey, who's to blame? I would put the defense well ahead of Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think it's his fault that they're 5-5. 5-5. Talk about a team that's 5-5 and right there mathematically and standings wise in the playoffs, Chase, and it just doesn't feel like it. I mean, everybody here, it's already, hey, who are coaching candidates for next year? They have turned the page to 2022.
My last thing, and then Sis, you can get James, again, thank you for coming on. I know he's got to run, but we really appreciate you coming on. My last thing is, do you really think they gave Drew Lock a legit chance? When I mean a legit chance, like behind them and, game planning and really, really looked it out and said, is this guy the quarterback of the future or not?
No, I don't. I mean, they went 4-1 during his rookie year when he started the last 5 games with Rich Gangarello as the offensive coordinator. And they decided to move on from Rich Gangarello and bring in Pat Shurmur. Find me the young quarterback that Pat Shurmur's developed, right? Like, you can't. It doesn't – that list is short because it's a list of 0. So that didn't help. Everybody on that team and in that franchise and in that organization got a mulligan for 2020 of COVID. We didn't have regular training camp, didn't have preseason. Everything was on Zoom meetings, except for the young quarterback who in his second year was trying to learn a new offense through all of that, but he didn't get a free pass. Then they have this 50-50 quarterback battle sham, which if you watch each of their 2 starts,
right, the Minnesota
when the battle was
preseason
going,
game.
Right, that was every bit as good as what Teddy did up in Seattle, which was also really good. Yep. And I was at every training camp practice, and Teddy Bridgewater was no better than Drew Lock. It was a sham. It was going to be Teddy Bridgewater from day one, which is fine. If you want to go that way, then just come out and say it and let Teddy Bridgewater take 100% of the first team reps in training camp and in the preseason and be ready to go for the season. So either way, whether it was a sham, then they screwed it up, or if it really was a competition, then they picked the wrong guy because Drew Lock should have won it. But no, they never gave him an opportunity. But you know what? It's what they do. They continually try to force a square peg into a round hole and don't take a young quarterback's skills, give him plays and a game plan that builds to those and works off of those, and then add to it as you go. Kind of like you saw with Josh Allen in Buffalo. That's the blueprint. They don't do that here. It's, hey, this is our offense. This is our system. Right. You got to learn it. Square peg, round hole, and it just drives me nuts.
Our good friend Matt Staffiero saying, I'm on the corral train with you, James. We heard you talking about that, so that would be nice.
He could be Kyler Murray 2.0. He really could be. Now, it's lofty. I get it. But when you watch him play, man, he has a lot of those same skills in terms of his ability to just buy time, run around, make throws from odd angles. And, boy, he would be a fun player to watch on a weekly basis, which that would be a nice change.
Sis, anything for James, Sis?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure.
James, nice to meet you on the show. My name is Eddie Siciliano. I just think Denver's in so much turmoil, okay, that you need a total clearing of the house. I don't agree with Aaron Rodgers coming here next year or Russell Wilson. You people need to develop a quarterback for the future, not for 2 or 3 years to win a Super Bowl. And then you're back in the same boat, right or wrong. I mean, you guys, it's been a merry-go-round of quarterbacks there. And do you really feel that they need to clean house and get a kid, and develop them and have them, or do you go back to the other kid that hasn't gotten a fair shot, like Kurt was just saying?
Yeah. Well, I think you have to go with draft a kid, develop them, but you have to commit to it, right? Like that's what Buffalo did. That's what Arizona did. They said, this is the guy we've got. He's got unique skills. Let's build our offense around that.
Correct.
That's what you have to do. You have to commit. The Broncos they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You look at it, you got a head coach on the hot seat, but a GM in first year of a 6-year deal. Like, not the same priorities. You had this veteran defense with guys on the last year of their deal, Bond, Kareem Jackson, the list goes on. And then you got this young offense of a bunch of guys on their first contract. That didn't go together. You have to get everything kind of on the same page. And to me, it would be, look at that offense, look at the skill position guys they have with Judy and Fant and Javonte Williams and Cortland Sutton and some good young offensive linemen, and build that offense with a young quarterback, a dynamic play caller, and commit to that. That would be the route I would go. Look, if you get Aaron Rodgers, fine. I'm not gonna be upset about that.
No, I understand that. I understand.
Peyton Manning was a once in a generation gift. That doesn't happen. Those guys don't hit the open market. They just don't.
Right.
James, one more from me, James. Does the next coach, would you want him to be an offensive minded coach?
Probably, but you know what? I wouldn't rule out a defensive-minded coach if you bring in, like, take it Dan Quinn for example, right? I think you need somebody who can come in and just reestablish the culture, and if that guy can bring in the right offensive coordinator, like he did down in Atlanta when he brought in Kyle Shanahan, then okay, I could be fine with that. I don't know that you want a retread that's been round and round and round and round too much. But somebody like that, I would be fine with. But yeah, I'd be more excited with a Sean McVay type, a Cliff Kingsbury, Zach Taylor, Matt LaFleur. I mean, that would be the kind of a choice that would certainly get me more excited than a defensive-minded coach. Just because, like I've said a couple of times, we've seen this formula, right? We've seen it with 3 different head coaches, 5 offensive coordinators, 10 quarterbacks. It doesn't work. The formula doesn't work.
All right, guys. Kenny, Sis, anything else for James?
Yeah, you did it.
James, I could keep you for 3 hours, but I know you got to run. So I definitely want to thank you for being on our show tonight. It was really a pleasure. Our friends over at Rocky Mountain Sports Report down your way, 4th and 99, our good friends Matt and Dave, they said you're invited anytime. They want to invite you on their show as well.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to join them. I'll come back on with you guys anytime. I just my 7th grader's got a basketball game tonight, so that's why I got to
go enjoy it. You did a great job. You know your stuff, man.
Good luck, and you got a new fan over here. As a Giant fan, I'll be chiming into 104.3 The Fan over here in Maryland, so I'll be listening.
All right.
And I'll
thank you, James.
Show for sure. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Thank
you guys
you,
have
James.
a good night.
All right.
Have a good show.
Thank you. James Merilatt from 104.3 The Fan. Amari Smith is checking in with us. What's going on, Amari?
Amari, what's up?
But,
Again,
James.
Thanks for James. That was a nice surprise there, Kurt. Hearing from talk show host, sports talk show host, on his perspective of what the Broncos should do. And I was talking to Dave over at Rocky Mountain Sports before we came on the air tonight. And I'm kind of agreeing with him too, Kurt. And just like James said, I think the route to go, Kurt, quarterback-wise, is draft. Because it looks like you're going to be in that – and we'll go Bronco Mania a few more minutes, Kurt, before we go on with the show. We'll go another 5 minutes with Bronco Mania. In my opinion, Kurt, I think – and it was Dave's opinion too, I know you said all in on Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. But I'm leaning more towards the – develop a young quarterback, because you're not going to have that top 5 pick. You're going to be in that 15 to 20 range, and you might get a quarterback that, he wasn't a number 1 pick, but now, he had a bad senior year in college, but he might become a star in the NFL. A Matt Corral.
All right, I hold that thought though, Kenny, but I want to ask Sis, because Sis brought it up to James, and it was a good question, right?
I was just going to say one last thing. Go ahead.
I agree. I agree what you're saying, because you're kind of saying what Sis said, get the young quarterback and build, right? But let me ask you this, Sis, okay? We all had high hopes for the Broncos this year, okay? And you know what? I'm going to look on the offensive side. That team is made. You got your running back in Javonte Williams. You got your receivers in Judy, Patrick, Sutton, and Hamler. You got Fant, Albert O. You're missing the quarterback, right? So I understand what you're like, Sis. If you said to me, draft a rookie, or you could have Case Keenum again. You could have, Kirk Cousins. Then yeah, go get Matt Corral. I'm
Well,
sorry, sis, but go ahead, sis.
Jim hit it on. Jim hit it on the head. Bring somebody. You didn't give the other young kid a chance to develop. You threw him in, then you threw him in the last 4 games last year. The kid was 4-1. There was no competition. The guy said it himself. They were neck and neck.
Right, but let me ask you this though, right? So you keep saying though about the young quarterback, right?
I'm talking about Drew Lock.
Right, but Drew Lock, but you also said to get started over, go draft the quarterback. You and Kenny are saying that. So, but this is my argument against that, which I agree to a point. But you want to go get a quarterback and say, hey, I'm going to put this talent, this quarterback talent, with all the offensive talent we collected, and hopefully we're ready to go. But if you got Aaron Rodgers, you're ready to go tomorrow.
I get that, but that's why I asked him, and even yourself. Do you want Aaron Rodgers just to win a Super Bowl and then you're going to be back to square one for the next 10 years?
I know this. With Aaron Rodgers, sis, I'm probably the favorites to get to the Super Bowl.
No, what I'm saying is you get to the Super Bowl and win it. My question is, Aaron Rodgers is not going to play for another 5 years.
It doesn't matter. Let me ask you something. Are Tampa Bay Buccaneers worried about that?
Okay, then you just answered my question. All you're concerned about is getting Aaron Rodgers to win the Super Bowl. Which is fine.
I want to be a Super Bowl contender right now. And then you know what? Here's what you do. While you have him for 3 years, get your plan ready for that 3 years. Be ready to go when he does go. That doesn't mean I draft a first-round quarterback.
Can I chime in?
Absolutely.
If you're the GM, Pat, and you're LA, you got to have a plan A, plan B. There's a team out there right now, sis, going for it all, and that's the LA Rams. And since they've traded for Von Miller and Odell Beckham, they've lost 2 straight primetime games. Let's see what happens in 3 or 4 weeks. But if that's a complete failure, I think you got to look at it like Denver and say, yeah, it didn't work in LA. We can't do this.
I totally disagree with that, because what happens in one place, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen in another. Odell Beckham, was a cancer when he was with the Giants. He was with cancer when he went to the Rams. He's a cancer. He's not a team player. Okay, he made the one big catch against Dallas that everybody – I never liked him because he's not a team player. That's all I got to say.
Couple comments. Kenny Douglas saying, because Rodgers has so many Super Bowl rings, he's a joke. Henry Zimenoff, if Denver loses to the Chargers and the Chiefs, they should fire Fangio. Ricky saying, you need a vet. Rookies cannot jump straight in. With the exception of Mac Jones, all the examples are there. See,
but that's easy to say now because you're 9 games into the season. Nobody knew Mac Jones was going to be this good. Let's be realistic.
It's a gamble. It's a gamble.
I agree. But so after 9 games.
But my point is, if I am a quarterback away from competing, now I'm not the Jets. But I'm a quarterback away from. Listen, you give, and you give Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, Hamler, Sutton, Judy, Patrick.
Nobody's disagreeing.
Listen to me. That offense is the best in the NFL. You're ready to go right now.
Okay, who's calling the offense? Let's make believe you got him. Do you want Schumer and Fangio next year calling it for him?
No.
Okay.
You hand over the reins to Aaron Rodgers and you say, listen, Manning did it in Denver. He ran the offense. Brady's running the offense in Tampa. You run your offense here.
But here's the problem.
He doesn't need any coaches. He's just going to.
Listen to me. You think Adam Gase was the offensive coordinator with Peyton Manning? Come on.
That was amazing.
Here's the realistic problem I'm having, and I know Dave is doing his show now, so he's not going to be able to respond. Here's the problem I see. Aaron Rodgers is going to cost money. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is going to cost draft picks. Aaron Rodgers is also going to cost superstar player or players on both sides of the ball. You may have to give up a Jerry Jeudy. You may have to give up a Bradley Chubb. You may have to give up one of your guys in the secondary, a Simmons. You're going to have to give up at least one player.
Well, let me ask something. What's Bradley Chubb doing for us now?
Huh?
What's Bradley Chubb doing for us the past 20 games?
If they want Bradley Chubb,
Nothing.
I'll take Aaron Rodgers for Bradley Chubb any day.
Oh, exactly.
But they might want some. But if they want, why would they make the rich richer? Okay, you want Rodgers? You're gonna have to give me Jerry Jeudy or Cortland Sutton.
They're gonna want draft picks. Well, you know what? I'd give him Cortland Sutton, but Beelan saying, "Oh, Kurt, LOL, good evening, fellas." But I'm just gonna say this, and I said it last, and I'll say it to Sis's coach talk. I'm just so sick of watching 3rd and 8, 4-yard completion, Bridgewater. Stop it. I'm so sick of it. James pulled it out. You don't win with backup journeyman quarterbacks. It does not work. It does not work. Their backups, it just shows you. The Saints are 6-0 with Teddy Bridgewater. They know they have to need a quarterback after Drew Brees. They should have locked him up and said, "You're our future." No, they went to get Jameis Winston. Then the Panthers basically said Sam Darnold's better than Teddy Bridgewater. He stinks. In Sister's word, he stinks. He's a backup. I've seen enough. 3rd and 9, throwing a 6-yard pass, throwing a 3-yard pass. It's a joke. It's a joke. He's a backup quarterback. How do you not throw Cortland Sutton? I forgot who was doing the game the other day. It might have been I forgot whoever said, how is Cortland Sutton should get 4? He's one of the best jump ball players in the NFL. 4 times there should be 4-9 routes down the field, go get the ball. We don't throw it to him. We don't throw him the ball. We don't throw him deep balls because he's running deep. Throw it. He can't throw deep. This guy is a backup. And I'm sick of it. I'm done with it. I'd rather see Rippin than this guy. I want him off this team. When it comes, what is it? What do they call that day when you fire the coaches? Black Monday or whatever they call it. Get rid of it. Fangio gone, and that afternoon, release Bridgewater and never come back again. Done. Terrible move. Terrible move.
What gets me is last week, after the Cowboys game, Kurt, was one. We're gonna win the division. Bridgewater.
No. Listen, you never heard. Listen, I'd root for Bridgewater. I would root for you as the quarterback. I'll root for anybody as the quarterback. I want to win as a fan. But sis, be my witness. I never wanted Teddy Bridgewater. Never wanted him.
Saying you wanted him, but I'm watching a seesaw back and forth each week with Denver fans, not you, Denver fans as a whole.
But not Bridgewater, not me with Bridgewater.
Back and forth every week. You guys are only 1 game back in the division.
Right, but you
and you're
see it, right?
For everybody's heads. I don't get it.
Sis, we coached together, sis.
Giants fans, we're done. 3 weeks into the season, we knew our season was done.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about this, okay? You know reality is reality, right? Like he just said, he is not the future of your team, you know? Our good friend Matt Staffiero I almost passed out. He said he wants to give 2 years, $39 million to listen to me. If they offered him 2, I'm driving to Denver, Beelan, and I'm stopping that transaction. We're not giving Teddy Bridgewater $20 million a year. No.
Pat Safriero wants that?
Yes.
Are you serious?
I don't want him getting $1, let alone $19 million. No.
Matt Staffiero's for that.
Yes, he wants to extend them 2 years, $38 million.
I'm totally shocked.
No way. This guy is done in Denver. And after that fiasco, what he pulled last week, not tackling that, that's a joke.
I got no
By the way, who do you guys play?
I got no problem with him not tackling.
You have no problem. I'll show you a video, Kenny. I'll show you a video of a 38-year-old Peyton Manning after he threw a pick or a fumble, tackling the guy. Peyton Manning with a broken neck.
Yeah, and I'll bring up 2 guys that got
with
hurt.
a broken neck.
You
He's
Broncos
tackling.
fans should be ashamed for saying this. Terrell Davis and Cortland Sutton. You remember when they tackled and they got hurt? What happened when they tackled?
You're the damn quarterback. You're the quarterback.
You all have a problem with Teddy Bridgewater as a person. If it was If it was John Elway or Peyton Manning and they did that, you wouldn't have a problem with it.
But he didn't do it.
Unless it's Teddy Bridgewater and you want him gone.
No, but
that's
they
why
didn't
you guys
do it.
got a problem
They
with the
didn't
lack
do
of
it.
effort.
They didn't do it. I agree with James Merilatt.
Kurt.
The
Kurt,
guy
you
should
gotta
never
be realistic, Kurt.
He should never
guy-
take another
The
snap
guy
for
had a
this team.
life-threatening injury.
I don't care.
Life-threatening injury
I
2
don't
years ago.
care.
He got a concussion 3 weeks ago.
I don't care.
You guys are complaining because he didn't tackle a
Grab
defensive
him. You know what? Hold him. Grab the guy. Hold him. Do anything. Come on. He quit. He quit. And you know what? He quit.
I'm
And
ashamed
that's
of
why
you
the
guys.
fans quit on him. He's done in Denver. He's done
I'm
in
ashamed
Denver.
of you guys.
He's done in Denver.
The guy 3 years ago was fighting to keep his leg. Fighting
Yeah.
to keep his leg. And then 2 weeks ago, he had a concussion, and you want him to go and lay his body out, fragile as he is, with a guy running full speed? Come on. Where's the rest of your team? Maybe they need to make the tackle. And like I said, what happened to Cortland Sutton and Terrell Davis? They got hurt when they tackled.
Kenny Douglas is saying quarterbacks should never make a tackle.
But he's right.
Rich,
If it was Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, would you want Aaron Rodgers risking it, Kurt?
I'll tell you
You're
this,
giving him $50 million a year. You're giving him $50 million a year, Kurt. You want Aaron Rodgers to throw his body out there?
You know what? Don't ask me. Ask Coach Siciliano. Ask Coach Siciliano that question. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kenny. Ask him.
I'll ask you this question, Sis, as a Teddy Bridgewater, not as a quarterback.
No. Ask him.
I'm going to ask him the right way. Teddy Bridgewater did not make the tackle. Teddy Bridgewater's injury history says, are you telling Teddy Bridgewater he better lay his body out?
I watched the game. I told you about that play, matter of fact, and I'll tell you what. Grab him, trip him. Don't stand there and just let him breeze on by. I'm sorry. It cost him a touchdown.
Yes,
I'm not saying body slam him.
Right.
But Kenny, let's be realistic. I played the game, Kirk. You got to make an effort, man. You got to. That's embarrassing. Imagine watching that in a film room on Monday morning. Are you kidding me? It's an embarrassment. He quit on his team, man.
Yep.
And I disagree. I'm sorry.
Which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not saying he should have body slammed him, but stick your arm out, make some kind of effort. Not like you're standing at a bus stop.
I know. The argument I'm having, Sis, and I know we're going to move on.
You guys will be arguing all night about this.
I truly understand your point, Sis, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm disagreeing with Kurt on one thing. I'm disagreeing with Kurt and the other guys that have a problem with Teddy Bridgewater, because if that was Aaron Rodgers making that same effort, you guys would have no problem, and we would not be talking about a lack of effort, because you got Aaron Rodgers, and you got to protect Aaron Rodgers. And
Denver's going to the Super Bowl against Frisco.
Anything different. If it was Aaron Rodgers, we would not be talking about this right now.
All right, real quick, last thing on this, Kenny, couple comments. Kenny Douglas, cost them a touchdown instead of a quarterback for the rest of the season. Beelan, tell Gordon not to fumble. Beelan saying Gordon's fumble cost them the game. Amari,
that's easier said than done.
Here's Amari. You got to show some type of effort to tackle. After he threw the pick, show some type of effort. Right. So if what happens when he throws a pick, do all the offensive linemen say we're not going to tackle him? Come on. I agree, Amari. I agree. Rich Atwood saying 1 year, $15 million, Teddy Bridgewater if I was GM of the Broncos. I'm not giving him anything. No way. Amari. Beelan, Winston's done for the year. Darnold bench for Cam. LOL. Come on. Amari saying, I'll say that for any quarterback. You got to show effort. I agree.
Tell Beelan we're going to get his boy Freddie on the Yankees.
Woo! All right, Mr. Kirkpatrick, what's next?
A little recap with the rest of the NFL, since this Broncos was hot.
Okay.
Freddie Freeman.
Who we want to talk about? Let's bring up a team. Chiefs. Chiefs are back. Chiefs came back in a big way on Monday night, Sis. What were your thoughts on the Chiefs Raiders?
I had a feeling they were going to play, good. I'm going to be honest with you. He threw for over 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Again, I'm a coach. I played. It's one game, so I'm not putting them in the Super Bowl yet. They still got to show. You know what I'm really shocked with, real quick? I'm shocked at the Rams, man. They're terrible. Terrible.
Hey, it's starting to show, like Sis said with Beckham, but maybe was Von Miller kind of a problem in Denver, Kurt? Like towards the end of his career, maybe? I know it's still too early to tell over there with I just think they're struggling right now, but I don't know. Like they got a lot of egos for LA, Jalen Ramsey, Odell Beckham. There's a lot of ego guys there, Sis, and I don't know if they're gonna turn their season around. Let's just say that.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, that word's not my vocabulary. So I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. That'll separate a team faster than anything. Somebody with a big head, and it's all about me. And that's Beckham. It always has been.
You called that, Sis. You called it from day one. I give you credit with that.
And again, I was ecstatic when he came to the Giants. But then when he started acting like a 15-year-old, wise guy, I'm like, this kid's got to go. And I'll say, you guys can say what you want. That was the best move, them getting rid of him.
John Beelan saying, home of the ring chasers, the Rams. Amari saying, remember I said the Titans would be the team to go get a winning streak after a slow start. Hashtag tighten up. Yes, they are.
Let's talk about the Titans for a couple of minutes since Amari's a Titan fan and out there. Yeah, I mean, they lost Derrick Henry, and we all thought they were in trouble losing Derrick Henry, but they're proving they keep winning and winning, and they're playing with defense now. And their last victory was against the Saints, the playoff team. Week before that was the Colts, playoff team. This winning streak they're having there, Rabel's got them. He's got them believing, and they just lost Julio Jones. And what do? They go and beat the Saints. So that's all.
Well, a lot of people lose sight. Again, okay, you lose to Derrick Henry. I get it. He's top flight, top notch, whatever. These guys are all professional players.
Yep.
Sometimes like you might have to wait to get your turn. Like a few weeks ago, that kid on the Browns, I forgot his name.
Yeah, the running back.
He hasn't played since.
Right.
He hasn't. How do you not play him?
Oh, he did play against the Patriots because Chubb was out with COVID protocol.
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you as a friend is he played one game, he had 147 yards. You haven't seen him since.
Yep.
To me, see, that's coaching.
Yeah.
I'm not saying start him. I'm get him in rotation. Give him some time.
Now, Beelan saying, Sis, agree or disagree with Beelan on this one? He said,
good.
Two-part question. He said, Beckham is a diva, but a lot of the best receivers were divas. Owens, Moss, Ocho Cinco, Chris Carter. Beckham is good. You get him the ball, he produces. Then his next comment, he says, but Sis is right, a big baby. So,
Again, I love Beelan to death. He's not the same player he was 3, 4, 5 years ago. He's not. He's not taking a slant like Eli was talking about last night and going 60 yards to the house. He doesn't have that gate speed anymore.
Right.
Again, that's just me. I mean, you tell me Judy's not better than him? It's not even close.
I listen. Hey,
is the Devontae Smith better than him?
You know what? Devontae Smith made a play over Pat Surtain on Sunday. Oh, sick.
Yeah, I saw. I watched the game.
Kenny, agree or disagree with Amari? I have to give credit to Ryan Tannehill. He has been playing good.
Ryan Tannehill's definitely proven to be
he's balling
back there for Tennessee.
He's balling.
Nice. I don't want to get back into the Broncos. Maybe that's what the Broncos were hoping out of Teddy Bridgewater, but I'm not going to get into that. That he's obviously, but the Titans hit lightning in about. They hit a home run. They took a shot. Swing for the fences, and they got it. Tannehill, he might get that team to the Super Bowl this year.
I'm going to stay with my Bills going to the Super Bowl. I'm not changing my mind.
By the way,
no, I think they're still the favorites, Sis, but you got to throw the Titans as a top 3 contender.
No, the Titans are tough. There's no question about it.
Guys, Carson saying hello from Ticket Time, saying what's going on, dudes. What's up, Carson?
What's up, Carson?
Seeing you tomorrow on Wits and Wagers, and check Carson out on Ticket Time YT on Twitch, everybody.
Amari's saying, Sis, how you all like that catch Devontae made this past Sunday? It was sick.
Sir. Yes, sir.
It was sick.
Well, let's get into one more game, and then let's do some quick hitters because I got another guest coming in.
Okay.
One more game let's get into real quick, and then I'll bring our next guest in, actually. Packers, Seahawks. Rodgers came back from COVID, and Russell Wilson came back from his hand injury. Kurt, what did you see at it? What did you get out of that game? Russell Wilson did not look good.
You know what I got out of that game, Kenny? Sis, what do we always say on this show wins championships?
Defense.
And running the ball, right?
That's it.
And you know
Those
what?
two.
The Packers played that. The Packers showed, even though we got Aaron Rodgers, we're going to play that style. I'll tell you this. What I learned, the Packers are better off with A.J. Dillon than Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones.
Absolutely.
That back, they run that rock with him now.
Yep.
Here comes the extra guys in the box.
Right.
Boop for
Boom.
Rodgers.
Yep.
That team, they play like that. That team's legit.
Yep.
Let me bring in our next guest. He needs no introduction. He is part of our Thursday show, sis. He wanted to come on and for 10 minutes.
Who's this?
Mr. Joey Clams is joining.
Wait a minute. You did not get my Godfather approval on this, but let him in.
Leave the gun. Take the cannolis.
A special Wednesday night appearance by Mr. Celebrity himself, Joey Clams.
I wish I was
man.
in on your. I wish I was in on your NFL talk. I wanted to
He's
say.
got the. He's
Oh,
got
well, you're
the.
on. You're on you're on to ask us questions, Joe. You can talk. We can talk.
Oh, okay.
He's got the Goomba hat on tonight. I like
Yep.
that.
We got about 15 minutes with you, Joe, so you can talk whatever you feel like talking about, my
You
friend.
can leave him on
Yeah.
for 20. He can take my spot.
Yeah, the NFL, it's wide open in both leagues. I don't think there's a team that stands out. It's wide open. And Kurt, I agreed with you were saying before. If they're starting Teddy, that means they have no confidence in the other kid.
Yep.
And their offense isn't ready to win now. They got him. If they need a quarterback.
Yes, they do.
They need a quarterback, and Jimmy Garoppolo might be available, and that guy wins. He's got a quick release. He'll get the ball out, and if he's got a running game, and you got to fix that offensive line, that guy could be perfect for you guys.
Yeah.
Kurt's got nothing bad to say about Garoppolo. He won him a fantasy week this week.
Yeah, he did. Fantasy, not real life. Fantasy.
Right. There's a big difference.
The AFC is wide open.
It is, Joe. Well, go ahead, Joe.
Even
Sorry.
Buffalo doesn't scare me. You got to run. They don't run the ball. You play up in Buffalo. This is November now. You got November, December, and then hopefully the 2 weeks in January. It's 10 degrees there, and you don't have a running game. You're gonna get taken out.
That's gonna catch up to you, Joe, and that's why when Kenny asked about the Packers, A.J. Dillon and the Packers, they play that style, running the ball. Like we always say with Sis, run the ball, play defense. The Packers played like that Sunday, and A.J. Dillon's a big back, man. You ride that horse in the playoffs, he's a problem.
And the person who says that Aaron Rodgers is a joke, buddy, that joke you said ain't funny. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks that I ever seen.
I would take Aaron Rodgers. I told you on Denver. I don't care, Joe. You could say to me, it's going to cost you your next 2 years number ones and your next 2 years number twos. I'm saying send that paper over. I'm signing it. Get it out.
Look at the way he manages a game. He knows how to manage the clock and plays, running the ball, short passes. He'll kill you. He'll need a one in between the two defenders. He's the best quarterback. He could do everything. He's a 5'2" quarterback.
He is. Joe, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about Saquon Barkley. We got two Giant fans on here. Paul will be on later, but we got the two Giant fans, Kenny and Sis, on this panel. I know you wanted to talk a little Barkley. So what do you want to talk about him?
Saquon Barkley is a great player, great talent. It was just wasn't the right pick for the Giants. They didn't need him. You needed a quarterback. With the number 2 pick in the draft, you got to draft a player that's going to be with you for at least 10 to 12 years. Not a running back that after 5 years he's gone. You needed an offensive lineman, or you needed a defensive lineman, or you should have went for the quarterback. The quarterback was there. You had Josh Allen there. You had Deshaun Watson there. You needed a quarterback. Their thinking was to get the running back and try to win for the last time for Eli. Now you just push the franchise back 7 years.
Guys, what do you think of that, Kenny?
Looking at it more and more, we talked about this, it was a month or two ago, we brought up Barkley, and now thinking about it, I'm leaning towards Joe. At the time, the one guy I wanted, the only quarterback I wanted in that draft was Josh Allen. So if it wasn't Barkley, I wanted Josh Allen. And they went Barkley, so at the time I was happy. I hope Barkley can come back and these injuries are behind him and he could be the guy that we drafted number 2. But you look at it, a running back's life in the NFL is what, 7 to 8 years? So
probably less.
I risk a number 2 pick on that. And if you lose a year or 2, you're down to 5 or 6 years. So I guess you could say shame on Gettleman for not dropping down in the draft if you wanted Barkley that bad. But, do I have a problem with Barkley being on the team? No. I would have liked Josh Allen, but you second guess yourself years later. I was okay with it.
You know what, Kenny? At the time, a lot of people were against it because it's a running back. Now, are you going to give him another contract? What running backs get 2 contracts? Not too many with one team. They become journeymen. After that first contract, they become journeymen. And Josh Allen would have been the perfect pick and the perfect play to play in that wind tunnel of Giant Stadium.
Joe, let me say this. See, so sis, we get back to it, and Joe just made a statement. Saquon Barkley's not going to be like, okay, I've been injured. I'll take a $7 million deal. He's not going to do that, sis. He's going to want McCaffrey money. So let's get less than McCaffrey money. What if he turns around and says, I want a 4-year, $64 million deal, 50 guaranteed? What are you doing, sis?
Speaking of that, did you see who gave Verlander $25 million today?
No, I didn't see. He didn't sign today.
The Astros did. It was on my phone before.
I didn't see that.
Yep, $25 million 1 year. But
so
anyway,
what's your thoughts on the Barkley though?
Well, in all honesty, and I'm gonna go with Kenny for once, believe it or not. I thought in the beginning it was a good move. He looked good and everything. Now, truthfully, you don't even know if he's going to make it through this season. Unfortunately, he's damaged goods. And getting back to my thought earlier with whoever made the comment, one of the people, chiming in, which is fine. It's easy to be a Monday morning quarterback. Oh yeah, the kid from Alabama is a great quarterback. We didn't know that this summer. We didn't know 2 years ago how good Josh Allen was going to be. But I'll tell you one thing we should have known, and Gettleman should have known. Daniel Jones, I'm sorry, he's not the answer for the Giants. He's not.
I'm with you.
He just doesn't, and it doesn't make him. He's probably a great person.
Hey, sis.
What? Go ahead.
You see, Barkley would have been perfect for a team who was a playoff contender and a chance to go to the Super Bowl, like a team like Pittsburgh, a team where he could be complimentary. Because every time you see when he was running the ball, 5 guys were on him.
Yep.
He never had a chance. And the way he plays 100% hard.
No.
And Gettleman, he's trying to hit a home run. He was trying to hit a grand slam with just a runner on second.
And you're gonna get the kid hurt if you do that. I agree. Mm-hmm.
Look where Najee Harris got drafted to the Steelers this year, and we compare him to a young Derrick Henry. That's the comparison. And he got drafted in 20s, with the Steelers. So what does that tell you with Gettleman? Like Joey Clam said, he was trying to hit a home run,
grand slam with a man on second, And then you got to. Then he has to take a quarterback next year because he's desperate. And
right, and then you reach for Daniel Jones.
Yeah. I know Joey had another topic he wanted to talk about. We haven't discussed any college football tonight. I want to get into college football with Joey, with the committee. I know this is hot topic that Kurt and I have each week, and John Beelan. But you're with us tonight, Clams. Let's get
when the chairman was walking out of the room, this dropped out of his pocket. I just wanted to show everybody. Let me tell you something. They asked him last night, the worldwide leader asked him, says, you have any respect or give any credit to Cincinnati being undefeated? And since this year, it's been a lot of underdogs, big upsets, double digit, and all of this. He says, I really haven't been paying attention. What are they doing in this room for 2 hours, ordering Chinese food, having spitball fights? What are they doing, making paper airplanes? What do you mean you haven't seen what was going on? You're the chairman. It's unbelievable. But let me tell you something about Cincinnati. They better start bringing their A game, because they got you by the side of the freight car, right, with the door open. As soon as you make that, something goes wrong, they're tossing you right out and they're waving by. So you got to step up your game. But I'm going to tell you that's in college football. There's only really one team that you could say, because of their defense, is up there. Everybody else is equal. From 2 to 12 or 2 to 15, everybody's maybe about the same. There's really nobody really that far apart, because you can see that the proof's in the pudding. Underdogs have been coming through every week, double-digit outright winners every week. So it's wild.
But you know what, though, Joe? But see, I think you just heard Cincinnati's case for what you just said. You said number 2 to number 12 is about even, and I agree with you. But what is the committee going to look at? Who are these even teams playing? So when you look at, a Big Ten team and you look and say, they got to play Michigan. They got to play Michigan State. They got to play Iowa. They got to play Ohio State. And then you turn around and say, well, what's Cincinnati got left? SMU. Who? SMU? Like
SMU.
That's a problem.
Hey, Kurt. Well, here's what I'm gonna say. Please pump the brakes on the Big Ten. They're good, but they're not great. They got when teams come from out of conference. What do they do to the Big Ten? Do they win or lose?
Speed. It's a different.
Hold on.
game.
Let me finish. Notre Dame. Right, who Cincinnati beat in Notre Dame. Notre Dame went into Wisconsin and took Wisconsin out in body bags. The Big Ten loses home non-conference games a lot. Minnesota, they had in the top 20. They're Big Ten. Minnesota was in the top 20 last week.
They shouldn't be.
Bowling Green went in there as a 31-point underdog
and beat them
outright beat them.
Right.
And Oregon went into Big Bad Ohio State with that Swiss cheese paper mache defense, and they were 14-point dogs, and they beat them. So you got to pump the brakes on the Big.
Go ahead, sis. I'm sorry.
Every week, you better hope Notre Dame wins. You better hope Notre Dame wins. You better hope Notre Dame wins. But you know who else is hoping Notre Dame wins? The committee. Because the committee has them ranked number 7. So they can't leapfrog Cincinnati. So, they keep moving Notre Dame up. All it's going to take is one loss.
Don't be surprised, Kenny.
One loss from Ohio State.
Don't be surprised with this cartel. Don't be surprised what they'll do. It's all about the money. Notre Dame is going to bring more money than Cincinnati will, so for advertisements and everything. When push comes to shove, if Notre Dame runs the table and Cincinnati is just walking through, this is the committee's thinking, not mine, and not what the professionals who put the lines out who really count, and the experts say, because they made Cincinnati a favorite going into Notre Dame, and Cincinnati won. But it's all about the money. Committee is about the money. It's not about the sport.
And Joe, that's
it's
the one
show.
occasion where Kurt and I will agree that Notre Dame should not be in there without playing a conference championship, because they're going to play one less game than Alabama. They're going to play one less game than Oregon. They're going to play one less game than Ohio State, Michigan. Even Kurt, you got to admit, they're going to play one less game than Cincinnati. So you would have to put Cincinnati in there over Notre Dame.
Well, Cincinnati has to go over Notre Dame. They beat them. But, sis, cover your ears on this one, okay? I'm making my prediction right now. Kenny, you ready? Alabama will be the first college football team in the college playoff with 2 losses because they will lose a close game to Georgia, and that will prove they're still the second best team in the country. They'll put them number 3, so you don't see it in the first round, and then your national title game will be Alabama, Georgia rematch, and it's going to happen.
Hey, Kurt, tell me what makes Alabama the second best team in the country. The defense?
No, I think they got a dynamic. I think their quarterback's one of the best in the country. I think
they lost as a 19.5-point favorite at Texas A&M.
Yes, they did. Yes,
who can't find their way out of a
yes,
paper
they
bag
did. But they also beat Ole Miss. Okay, I think
big deal.
I think now they will beat Auburn. Bo Nix is out, so I think they will beat Auburn. They won in the swamp. Okay, they beat.
What they won where? To Florida? How many? Florida's got 4 losses. Look at how they do.
Listen,
hey, the same way you're saying about Cincinnati, you got to say it about Alabama.
Yeah, but Alabama, you could just watch it and listen. That game right now, did you see what the line? What do you don't tell Joey? You don't answer. I'm going to ask Sis and then Kenny because I saw it the other day. Hypothetical SEC championship game. If it was the line, what would the line be today, Sis? Georgia, Alabama.
My own opinion.
Yeah.
Georgia be a 2-point favorite.
Kenny, what do you think?
Georgia would be the way Georgia's been playing. I'm going Georgia 8.
Did you see what it was?
What?
Joe?
Did he say 8?
8.
I'll take that bet any day of the week.
Hey, Joe. What's your official line as the odds maker?
That's 3.5 or 4.
I saw it at 3. The Bear Felica said it came out the other day in the book. Georgia by 3.
And I'm taking a loan out for that bet then.
Well, let me ask you something. What other team in the country are you going to put near 3 points? You ain't putting Cincinnati. You might put Cincinnati with a 2 in front of the 3, minus 23, but it ain't going to be 3.
What was the spread last year when they played in the bowl game? It's the same players from last year.
No, but that bowl game doesn't count. A lot of guys
why doesn't? How come with the SEC it never counts the bowl games when they don't do good?
Because they don't play. They don't play in the games.
Stop. You know what? Stop.
They don't play in the games.
You show up on the field.
But
that's a weasel way out. You show up on the field.
What's your favorite expression, Joey? They don't want to go in the schoolyard?
They don't want to go in the schoolyard. They run at 3 o'clock. They run out the side door at 2:40.
All right, I'm going to ask Joe.
I love that.
I'm going to ask
And you said,
Joe
wait,
3
you said
questions.
the line's going to be 23 if they ever play Georgia, Cincinnati?
It'll be at least, realistically, 13.
This is
I know what
good.
the line. I know what the line is.
This is good.
First of all, why wouldn't the line?
It's between around 9.5.
Listen, everybody this year. When Georgia hasn't given up more than 14 points a game all year, why wouldn't the line be more than 7? Alabama can't play defense. Clemson played in your words.
Kenny.
Because I'll tell you why, Kenny. I'll tell you why. All right, when Kirby Smart looks across, and you guys remember the Water Boy? Remember the Water Boy? When Fonzie looked at the coach and he said, "Oh my God, I gotta go against him." He's gonna see Nick Saban and go, "Oh no, I want to play Nick Saban. Oh no!"
Kenny.
Zoop, and they choke.
Kenny, it's because of you can't. If you make it 8, you'll get all Alabama money. You won't get any Georgia money. They gotta get when they make a line, they get the feel of what the public's gonna do. So they gotta see which way they're gonna lean. So if they make it 3.5 or 3, they'll see which way to go with the money. If 8 would be too high. 3.5 is probably around the right side. Then you could gauge. I'd make it 3.5. So then if I see Alabama money, then I say, okay, I could go to 3. If I see it go, I could go to 3. If I see Georgia money,
Sis,
then
I want
could go
you to
to
be.
4.
You're gonna be like this is like a jury right now. I'm cross-examining Joey Flams, and I want you to tell me if he's telling the truth or lying. Okay? I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, Joe.
Okay.
And be honest.
Okay.
Can Ohio State beat Georgia on a neutral field?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can Alabama beat Georgia on a neutral field?
Yes, they could.
Okay.
Yes, they could.
Can Cincinnati beat Georgia on a neutral field?
Yes.
Yes.
They were beating them.
I think that
58
answer's
minutes
no.
last year, and outplaying them.
I think that's last year though, big guy. That's not
Same
this year.
players, same guy, same team.
Everybody's back on that Cincinnati team.
Hey,
It-
real
it
quick, I
doesn't
gotta
mean
stop you. I
anything.
gotta stop.
Sorry. The new year.
Wait, sis.
What?
If I seen them beating them for 58 minutes last year, right? What makes you think I can't see them?
No, I'm
having
not
a chance to play them on a
No,
neutral
I'm
field
not
the same way.
I'm not disagreeing that point. I'm
No,
talking
you were
about-
asking
Sis,
me.
I gotta
usually ask me if I
interrupt
was-
for one
what I
second. We
thought.
got a comment from our good friend and
Yeah.
former player Anthony Mataloni. He's saying, "Hey, coach and coach, where is the game Friday for Poe? Feel like everyone needs to go." Anthony, thank you for joining. And Anthony, the game got postponed from this Friday to next Friday at Northern Highlands. So it is the day after Thanksgiving is when they're playing that game. Not this Friday. They moved it.
Correct. Correct.
Oh, okay,
So,
that's
Mr.
good.
Kirkpatrick,
No, Joe, what I was going to say to you was this real quick. Like, even in high school or whatever, college, you see a team that beat somebody 42-0, and then in the regular season, for example, then they go play in the playoffs, and that team that lost 42-0 beats that team. Now, I'm not saying because they did. I watched the game. Cincinnati played toe to toe with them. But just because you got the same players back, to me, that the Yankees got the same players back. What did they do? You know what I mean?
I only answered the question. Do I think they have a chance on a neutral field? And I think they do.
Which is your opinion, and that's fine. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
But
I don't-
there's no great team. Georgia's not a great team.
No, they're not.
They're not a great team. So
there is-
any team could be beat.
There's no LSU from 2 years ago, and there's no Bama team.
There's no Bama those three
I
out of
agree
those
with
5
you
years.
there,
There's none of those Bamas.
That is wide open. But getting
They
back
have a
to-
great defense, but they're not a great team yet. You got to win to be a great team.
But getting back to Kurt's thought, and I'll be done. If you're going to put a 2-loss, which I disagree, and they're my team, if you put a 2-loss Alabama in, right now tonight, you might as well just say it's Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, and Ohio State. End up picking every week.
Exactly. All of a sudden, like head to head doesn't count, and wins don't count, and losses don't mean anything no more.
This is a popularity contest. That's all it
Yeah,
is.
it's an invitational.
Exactly.
Here, take it. Here. Oh, thanks for participation. Here's your steak knives and go home.
That's
I
like
just
giving
look. I
everybody
look
a-
at it like this, and this will be my last thing on the college football playoff. You write a paper and you say, "All right, Georgia's at the top, right? Georgia's at the top. Give me the first team. You could pick anybody in the country. Who's the first team you would put your life on the line that they would beat them?" Someone's gonna say Alabama. The next person's gonna say Ohio State. The next person's probably gonna say, I don't know. I would probably say another Big Ten team, or I'll go Oregon. And those are the teams. That's how you're going to put them in order. So that's, like,
That's why.
that's
Listen,
what it should
that's
be.
why the
Best
that's-
teams.
That's
the best
why. Yeah. Well,
teams.
But Kurt, that's why the public is always wrong. That's why the public is always wrong. That's why on Thursday night I can't wait to
All right.
get my birdseed
My
out
la-
for my pigeons.
My last thing for Joey, I
'Cause I
promise.
pick your pockets every week.
This is
Come
my
on,
last.
let's
This
go,
is my
baby.
last thing, Joe. And I had Beelan and Kenny in a text message saying you can't compare it, and I say BS. You can't compare it. Don Bosco is 5-4. 5-4. You know what they're ranked in the state? Number 4. Why? Because they're playing good teams every week. You're not going to take a team, Middletown North, or I'll even say a small school. Listen,
Point
I
Pleasant Borough.
love Caldwell. Caldwell ain't the number 4
one.
team in
Listen,
the state.
you
because-
cannot. When
No.
you're talking, stick to the subject. It's college football. not high school. We're not doing ifs. If my aunt
It's the
was my
same
uncle,
thing.
Not
no,
the
it's
same
college
thing.
football. They went into Notre Dame
If my
and
aunt was
won
my
as a
uncle.
favorite. Vegas thinks they're good. That's who counts, not you guys,
Get him,
not that
Joe.
cartel.
Get him, Joe.
The guy told you. I don't know. I don't watch it. I don't see that the underdog's been winning all the time. What are you out of your mind? What are you doing in that room? Playing grab ass?
You know
Are
what,
you
Joe?
nuts?
You know
That's
what, though,
crazy.
Joe? I
Your
saw that
mentality is
movie,
sick.
Joe. I saw that movie last year. What Sis said on New Year's Day. I saw Cincinnati fired up. Biggest game in the program's history. Biggest game. We're playing Georgia. Georgia went there with 9 guys not showing up, and they still couldn't beat them. Without
All right,
9 guys, they still couldn't beat
Hold
them.
on.
Guys, we got to.
So wait a minute.
Unfortunately,
Time out. Was that a good Georgia team that day, or that wasn't their good team?
They didn't have 9 guys,
Oh, so it was just the brand you're looking at. So
and they
that's why
still
the
beat
same
them.
thing you're talking about. You're sticking up for the Big Ten. The Big Ten has the worst losses at any at a conference, at any teams, any conference. Who's their big wins? They lost in their house, everyone.
Ohio
Notre Dame went into
State's coming
Wisconsin.
out of that conference, and Ohio State's better than Cincinnati.
We'll see.
All right, Kenny,
We'll
where
see.
are
Hey,
we
we
moving
don't know
on to?
until you play. But Oregon went into Ohio State, and that was a big loss. That's a bad loss. I don't know. Ohio State has a bad loss, and Cincinnati's got a big win, and they're undefeated. Until they lose, they're undefeated.
Mr.
You lost
Mr.
at home. You let an Oregon Duck team without the best player in the country come into your house, and you're a 14-point favorite, and you lost. Shame on you. Shame on you. That's a bad loss. Get out of here.
Go ahead, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Joe, want to thank you for coming on tonight. We will be
Thank
seeing
you,
you
guys.
tomorrow for our wits and wagers for sure, and we can get more into this tomorrow. Unfortunately, we're on a
It's all right. Listen,
agenda here. That
by
we
me saying anything,
we got our
or you
our
guys
good
saying,
friend Paul coming in for Giants, important Giants talk, and we want to thank you for coming on tonight. Do you want to tell everybody where they can find you on your Twitter account for those Wednesday people that don't know about you?
yeah, Joey _Clam69. I got it right there.
That's it, baby.
He was waiting. He's
There
waiting.
he is.
He's right there
We
on
will-
the sideline.
We will see Joey tomorrow.
He's pressing the button for the floor to open up on me.
See Joey tomorrow. He's in Miami, by the way, with that hat. We'll see Joey tomorrow. We'll see Joey tomorrow for Wits and Wagers, and we'll be getting Kurt
Pushing the
veins will be
button.
popping out of his neck tomorrow, Joe. We'll see.
All right, let's go with the pros tomorrow.
There you go.
Have a good night, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
All right.
Thank you.
Pushing the button for the floor to open. That's a great line.
There he goes, the one and only Joey
One and
Clams,
only
baby.
Joey
God.
Clams.
That's insane.
The best. Joey Clams is the best. I love getting fired up with Joe about this.
We're going to go
committee.
from one guest to the next, fellas, because we're going to bring in our weekly Giants report. Mr. Paul Rosen is going to be joining us now for our weekly Giants talk.
There's Mr. Rosen.
Mr.
Hey,
Rosen,
guys.
tie-dye Giants shirt there today.
Listen.
Look at that shirt. I love it.
Listen, how do I follow that? That's like following Robin Williams or Richard Pryor.
That's our
or-
celebrity Joey Clams, man. You have to
I
hear him
mean,
on Michael
you know,
Kay.
That's
I
like
gotta send
coming
you
on.
a YouTube clip of him on the Michael Kay show. Oh man,
Right. Oh, I know. I saw that. I saw that. I don't know, man. That's impressive.
You know what we got to do, sis? I wish Kenny could come down. I'd host it. I'd tell Jenny Hoops we're hosting it. When they do the college football, the final one where they make the picks, Joey Clams might jump right out this window in Cincinnati's number 5.
Oh yeah,
He would jump right out.
yeah. Paul,
Let me-
Paul, I had a shirt like that growing up. Like threw it in the tub. Threw some Clorox on it.
just
Clorox,
to
and then I threw some jeans in, and it came
Right.
out just like that.
just to give you some history. When
Go
we
ahead.
were still up in New York and we had tickets for the games, we would tailgate, and one of our tailgate friends got us all these shirts.
Nice.
tailgating crew. So
Yeah, it's a nice looking shirt. It really is.
thank you. Yeah.
All right, I want to ask
figured they'd
Paul a
bring
quick
it in.
question. Paul, can you hang out till 9 o'clock with us?
Yeah.
Kurt, I'm shaking you off. I'm on the mound. I'm shaking off the fastball. I'm shaking off the curve. I'm throwing the heat.
Okay.
Let's get into Sis's mind first, and then we're gonna wrap up with Rosen's round table tonight.
That's
right,
fine.
good.
Let's do Sis. What's on Sis's mind? Let's see what's on his mind.
Believe it or not, we're gonna talk a little bit because the trading deadline's coming up a little bit with the baseball, and we'll start with Kenny. What do you think of the Yankees getting Matt Olson from Oakland?
Matt Olson, I think, would be. I would like Rizzo, but any type of player like a Matt Olson, I would welcome with open arms for Yankee Stadium with that short porch.
So, second part of the question: do you think Rizzo's going if they get Olson?
If they get Olson, 100%, yes.
Okay, Kurt.
You know what? I agree with Kenny. I think, I would take Rizzo first too, but Freeman, like you were saying, you were busting Beelan's chops, but any lefty bat I think it has to be a lefty bat for first baseman for that right field porch. I agree with Kenny.
Mr. Paul.
I love Rizzo. When you guys got him last year, I thought that was a magnificent move. I'll tell you, you put him in there to have a full season. I wouldn't take anyone else but Rizzo for his leadership, his defensive ability, his offense. I don't care. I would take him in a second.
Kenny, I'm sorry, Paul. Sis, real quick, Matt Aloney's saying Sis's mind. He's saying it's sausage and peppers. We coached him, Paul. We coached Anthony Mataloni.
Yeah, Ramapo. Okay, we'll go back to Kurt. Should we take Carlos Correa from the Astros? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think it shows, you guys never filled that. You don't have that shortstop role filled. Torres is definitely not a shortstop. And, hey, he's a player. But, yeah, I would definitely take him.
What about Corey Seager from the Dodgers?
Who would I take? I would take either or. You're asking me who would I take out of those two?
Exactly. Which one would, if you could have your pick, who would you take?
You know what? I would go with Seager. I really would.
I would too. Kenny?
The Yankees, 100% Corey Seager. I read a quote today. Carlos Correa said Jeter was not a Gold Glove shortstop. I don't want somebody like that on that team. The way the Yankees haven't won in years, I'm not bringing that. We talk about head cases. I'm not bringing that into Yankee Stadium for the next 8 years.
Kenny,
Sorry.
I got to cut you off because we got another Ramapo comment coming in for Coach Sis. It's from another great player we had, Mr. David Silverstein, saying, "Hey, Mataloni, watch what you say to Coach Sis. I got his back." So there you go.
That's awesome, man. I love those kids. I always did.
By the way, and David Silverstein saying, thinking of the Ramapo Raider community this week. By the way, Paul, not sure you know, but listen, I say it all the time on our high school show. Coach Drew Gibbs, I say he's the best high school coach in New Jersey, hands down. He tragically passed away yesterday morning. Coach Sis and I coached with him. Just an unbelievable coach, unbelievable guy. And that's why we're getting some of the comments from some of the kids. And it's just, it's like a world of shock. I mean, like, right, Sis? I mean, we say it all the time.
You know what's even scarier, Kurt, that I just found out today? Yesterday was his birthday.
I didn't know that.
He died on his birthday,
Wow.
November 16th, 1961. I'm getting the chills just telling you.
I didn't know that.
Guys,
I did my homework this morning on the background with it.
guys,
Yep.
I happened to see that, and my condolences to everyone. I happened to see it on another Facebook post from somebody that I follow. So my condolences to everyone. And then
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Paul.
So
Yeah, he was a great coach. But getting back to you, Paul, who do you, Carrera or
Seager, without a doubt, Seager. I think he's going to be in the American League with that torch as a lefty batter. He's gonna do what the Yankees need him to do. I don't think the Yankees want Correa on their team, and and that would be my feelings about that.
I'm going to come right back to you, Paul.
Sis,
Okay.
real quick,
So-
sis, Dave Silverstein saying, great. Keep up the great show, guys. All the best. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, he's a good dude. We're going to go right back to Paul. Even with these players we just talked about, okay, that doesn't solve the rotation in the bullpen. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, I'm not a Yankee fan. I've been a
Right.
fan for 50-something years, living in New York for the most part. I have never seen a Yankee pitching rotation as bad as it's been over the last year or two. So, yeah, I mean, they need another couple of starters on their team, probably more so than they need bats in the lineup. And I think if the Yankees were smart, they try and get a couple of good pitchers as opposed to bringing in.
That's great point. Great point. Kenny?
I think the pitchers we have now, Sis, in my opinion, I think I got the fix for the bullpen. And I think it's putting Luis Severino in the bullpen as a setup guy for Chapman.
Okay.
Didn't I also? Oh, I'm sorry.
So, no, I was just going to say rotation. I don't know. Are you going to go pay somebody else? Like, look what happened with Cole. He didn't pan out once they started, cutting down on what the pitchers can use.
Did you see they took Verlander to the Astros for $24 million?
What was that, Sis?
The Astros took Verlander for 1 year for $24 million. It was on my what do you call before. I couldn't believe it.
I'm going to look at it now. I did not see that.
I didn't see that either.
Oh, yeah. Astros keep Verlander, $25 million
Again,
deal.
see, to me, that's totally insane. $25 million for 1 year. I mean, he can bite, he can trip over the mound. I mean, it's crazy.
Sis, you know what's insane? That the Angels gave Noah Syndergaard, who has pitched in 2 years,
I saw that.
$1 million.
Yeah, I know. You're right. That's a great point, though.
That's insane.
Yep. Okay, well, we'll go back to Kurt. Is LeMahieu the third baseman for the Yankees this year?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, I think,
Go ahead.
you know what? I mean, he's not going to play second, right? Torres is going to go to second. You're looking at a first baseman. You know what? I don't know. I mean,
where do you put him?
Where do you put him? Is he going to DH? I mean, you're paying Stanton, millions and millions of dollars.
Okay.
So is he going to play the outfield and maybe going to DH? I don't know. I don't know.
Let me ask you the second part of that. Urshela's contract's up 2024. Are they going to use him for trade bait?
Listen, I agree with Paul. It all starts with, by the way, sis, Matt Aloney saying to David Silverstein, "Hey David, did you ever have to see Coach Sis after practice?"
Oh my God, they remember that.
They remember
Holy
that.
smoke.
But you know what? See, I agree with Paul. It comes down to pitching. So if I could get a legit pitcher when I say a legit pitcher, someone who's going to be number 2 or 3 in the rotation, who's going to pitch in a playoff game more than 2 innings, I would get that player for an Urshela and then play LeMahieu. That's what I would do.
Kenny?
Fortunately, I think Urshela is the odd man out. I think they will move him, and LeMahieu will be the third baseman.
Paul?
Yeah, I think LeMahieu maybe will be the quote unquote third baseman, but I think you're going to see him go around the whole infield, and they'll give a rest there. They'll use him at DH. They'll use him at first, maybe against certain pitchers. So I think he'll be the utility guy, even though he may play 145, 150 games, but it's going to be at a variety of positions.
Is Gio Urshela, is he a trade tip bait, whatever you want to call it?
I think if they could get a pitcher for him, it might make sense to trade him and use him as a trade bait for a pitcher.
Okay. Kenny, your boy, does he have an outstanding or a middle, whatever you want to call it? Does he even play okay? Aaron Hicks. What's your take on him?
He'll play 60 games and bat 200 this year, and Cashman will sign him to another 5-year deal.
Kurt?
Joke.
Listen, Kenny called the word joke. Shouldn't be on the roster. But he's gonna because it's his boy. But joke. I agree with Kenny.
Okay. Paul?
I'll say yes, but are they going to bring back Gardner also for the 800th year of his career here, or are they finally going to let him go? So a lot of it depends on who they're going to bring back, but probably yes.
Okay. Kenny, James Merilatt, is he going to be in the rotation coming off that ankle surgery?
Yes.
Okay. Kurt?
Right now, yes. I don't really know what else the Yankees could possibly do, but yeah, I'll say yes with Kenny.
Mr. Paul?
I'll agree. Make it a full house.
Sweet. Okay. Kenny, do you think there's going to be a problem because December 2nd, I believe, or the 3rd, there's going to be a collective bargaining agreement? So do you think that's going to hamper the start of spring training? I guess is what I'm asking you.
I think there'll be a threat, and that's what hurts baseball every year. There's a collective bargaining issues every year, but I think they'll work it out before the spring training. But they really know how to turn fans away from them. They really do.
Yeah, that's a good
Guys,
point.
real quick, little breaking news. Eddie Murphy saying, "Good evening, gentlemen. I have you guys on the car radio." So thank you, Eddie.
Attaboy, Eddie. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, baseball is losing so many fans, so many different ways. Nobody wants to hear about lockouts. Nobody wants to hear about owners suffering or players making so much damn money. And if they can't get this straightened out, the only people that are suffering are the true baseball fans. And it's unfortunate because I know as I get older, it's rubbing me so much more not to be a fan of baseball compared to what I was when I was growing up. So the only thing I could say is they better get this thing straightened out sooner than later.
Absolutely. And we'll go back to Paul for the last one of the night on what's on Sis's mind. It's really simple. Yes or no? Do we sign Gardy again? Just yes.
Yeah, yes.
Kenny?
I agree with Paul. I'm going to say yes.
Kurt?
You know what? I want to say yes. I mean, I think it should be no, but it's like, what makes you think that they're going to say no? So I'm going to go yeah.
See, to me, real quick, he's old school. He's the catalyst of that team, man.
I agree with you, Sis, because
I mean, he's an older player, I get it, but he just seems to rise up in certain occasions. I mean, this has definitely got to be his last year, but I would bring him back, and that's the end of my spiel.
Sis, Eddie Murphy said he would.
Sis, if I can just interject, I'm not a Yankees fan, but for me, looking at the Yankees, who's their real leader on the team? I don't think
Point.
No.
Judge.
It ain't Aaron Judge, I can tell you.
No. So I think someone like Gardner has been there for so long, and while he may not have the production that he had in the past, I think someone like him still is a leader.
Paul, what are you, a Tampa Bay fan?
No, a Mets fan.
No, you're not.
Yes.
He's from New York. Yeah, he's from New York.
I never knew that. Wow.
Yeah.
We'll have to do a Mets. We'll have to do a Mets, so it's on.
I blame my father.
Believe it or not, and Kurt will tell you, I was into them this year. I was watching.
We'll have to get Met. Paul, real quick, who was your favorite Mets player of all time?
I would probably say Mike Piazza.
Piazza. Kurt's mom is Lenny Dykstra.
I thought you were going to say Ed Kranepool.
I won't say Tom Seaver.
Yeah, my mom was the Dykstra fan, right, Kenny?
Yeah,
yeah.
We'll have to do a mine with your mom and Paul one night.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
let's get into the
team.
We got to get Joey Pops on the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
That's
By,
something
by the
that
way,
is,
real quick, Eddie Murphy saying about Gardner wasn't supposed to be an everyday outfielder, and he gives it his all every time he's in the lineup.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's do some Giants, which Paul's here with us each week. So let's get into the Giants real quick, guys. And we'll end the show with Giants tonight, if you all are okay with that.
Yep.
So I got Paul's second half notes. Last week we talked about the game against the was the Chiefs?
Raiders.
Raiders. I'm sorry.
Had a boy, Paul.
Just checking to see if Paul's paying attention.
Right.
Now I got his notes for week 2, part 2. And to start this off with some quick hitters that he has. And if I'm out of order, Paul, I apologize. But
That's all right.
I got your notes here in front of me. So I got a quick hitter question first, Sis. It's about the second half of the season. What would you like to see on offense, Sis? Quick hitter.
Daniel Jones take more control of the team and not fumble as much.
I would like to see more of the younger players, Kadavius Toney and Azeez Ujulari, getting more plays on defense.
Fair enough.
Offense, Kadavius Toney. Kurt, do you want to answer it, or do you want to just let us pass
I'll
on
answer
it?
it really quick. Not as a Giant fan, but I think it's just very important. We talk about it with every guest about every team. I want to know, after week 17, is Daniel Jones the quarterback of the future or he's not? And have that decision made, and not I'm going one way or another. Not going 3 games next year. I'm either going all in with him or I'm sending him packing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Kenny, there is a question that I sent you yesterday, something similar to that. So you might get into that in a couple of seconds.
Okay, you did send me something on text that I didn't get. It wasn't available. So if I don't read it, if you don't mind sharing it.
Okay.
What would you like to see on offense, Paul?
I'd like to see if all their injured players can come back and have the kind of offense that we pictured at the beginning of the year. And if everyone is healthy, if they can play these next 8 games and see if, in fact, Daniel Jones is the quarterback that we think or hope he can be. Because I think without these injured players, we're never going to know. And that's including the offensive line with Andrew Thomas coming back.
Kenny, real quick, couple comments. Eddie Murphy saying Giants upset Bucks 31-24. Jason Garrett opens up the playbook more in the second half. Sis, Anthony Mataloni, sorry for getting off topic. I get all fired up hearing Coach Sis and Coach Valenti. Coach Sis knew how to get us all fired up. Coach Valenti is the best scout in NJ history. David Silverstein, one of the best DNs I've ever seen. Rest in peace, Coach Gibbs. I'll always have Raider pride and toughness. Eddie Murphy saying any quarterback is better than Daniel Jones in this draft. And Manny DeLima, our good friends, instead of saying Danny Dimes, he's saying Danny Pennies. So there's what Manny thinks of your quarterback, boys.
Hey, Paul, real quick, Paul.
Yeah.
These are kids from 21 years ago. That's the relationships we built with them.
Yeah. That's
what it's all about.
That's so important.
Yeah.
You know, you forget about the games and the scores, but it's the relationships.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Kurt was the offensive guru back then.
I could still be the offensive guru, Mr. Sis.
True.
Kurt, I was going to say.
I would never doubt you.
I listened to your opening, and I was laughing because I said, and Kenny and Sis, maybe you'll agree with me, if we were 5-5, we'd be throwing a party right now, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Kurt used to line up on the 5-yard line, Paul, right real quick. He put 2 tight ends in the game, and he said to me, Sis, I'm running tight end under. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. But long story short, he put 1 tight end in motion. He would go down the line, leak out into the end zone. It worked every time he ran. Yep.
Eddie Murphy, I know Kurt about 20 years as well. I had Eddie Murphy in Little League, baby. That's well, we got all our players coming on tonight.
Are you coached? You coached Eddie Murphy
In baseball, yep. Giordano's
No
baseball,
kidding.
yep. And
Wow.
we had the biggest upset in Garfield history. Mr. Kirkpatrick, we'll save that for another day, Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Yeah,
That's
save that one
awesome.
for another day. I'm gonna hide my face on that one. I was a rival coach against Kurt, and we lost. But we'll tell Paul that story. We'll tell Paul that story off the air.
Yeah, we'll tell him.
Sis, real quick, what would you like to see on defense?
I like the way he's mixing it up, believe it or not. You know, he's showing, and then he's bailing out. Sometimes he's not showing and he's blitzing. So I kind of like the last 2 weeks, kind of like what he's doing. Now, real quick again, and I know you know this, Kenny and Paul, Brady's never beat us. And I hope that streak stays alive come Sunday afternoon.
Actually,
Never beat us.
night. Monday
Whatever
night.
it is, Monday night. He's never beat us.
I'll do mine quick hitter, and I'll just say I want to see more. I want to see the consistency continue and build off that consistency from the last couple games, and keep that pressure on the quarterbacks, keep the blitz packages, more blitzing, and go with your strength. Your strength's supposed to be the secondary, so get the rush on the quarterbacks and let the secondary make the plays. And Paul.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If they can continue developing these young kids, this Roger, Ojolari, who seems to have supplanted some of the other and Jimenez, if they can continue developing and putting pressure, because we all know we've got to put pressure on Brady. I'd like to see them continue to do that for the rest of the second half, and hopefully the defense will continue to play as if they should have been playing throughout the whole year, much less the last 3 games.
Sis, a yes or no? Can you see the coaching staff making any major changes in the team second half?
No.
I'm gonna agree with you there. Kurt, you want to answer, or do you want me to just skip you on?
No, you can skip me. You guys can answer.
All right. I'm going to say no as well to that one. I think they go with what they got. Maybe the offense, they let the younger kids, maybe some changes on the O-line. Maybe. We'll see. But I'm going to say no right now. What about you, Paul?
The only major change I want to see is getting that kid Tony in there as a regular receiver. I don't know when Shep is coming back, but I think they've got to find out, is this kid the real deal? And if they can use him on offense in a way that's going to produce the offense and help Jones, then let's see how they can use him. But other than that, let's continue doing what we've been doing. Hopefully with the injured players coming back, we can start producing both offensively and defensively.
There you go. And then Sis, Kurt, Paul, I got what you wrote here, Paul. Second half standings and schedule, guys. At the Giants bye week in the NFC, there are 5 teams: Cowboys, Cardinals, Packers, Buccaneers, and Rams that are playoff locks. 1 team has 5 wins, 2 teams have 4 wins, and 6 teams, including the Giants, have 3 wins.
Let me just interject, Kenny. Obviously, that was from before last weekend. So
yes,
those have changed. But basically, the Panthers and Saints have 5 wins. 4 teams have 4 wins, and now 4 teams have.
Right. Okay. Yep. And then, so the Giants have 3 wins. Looking at the Giants' remaining 8 games, guys: Buccaneers, Eagles 2 times, Dolphins, Chargers, Cowboys, Bears, and Washington football team. Paul's question, Sis: are the Giants closer to a playoff berth or closer to a top 10 draft pick in next year's NFL draft?
Again, that's so hard, man. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I'll answer. I'm going to say
I'm being honest with you.
the realistic answer is going to be both, because we're going to have the Bears top 10 pick. But as the Giants pick, I'm going to say we're closer to a playoff berth because we had on paper our hard schedule. So,
well, again, I think a lot that ties in is Gettleman still going to be there? You know what I mean? Like, who's going to make that pick? That's why I was torn to say yes or no or one way or whatever. But
I'll say closer to a playoff berth. I'm going to go high expectations second half. Let's go. Paul.
All right. I'm glad you have high expectations. I think I've been watching this team too many seasons to think just when they lure me in. What's the line from Godfather 3? Just when I think I'm out, they bring me back in.
Yep.
I want to believe they can compete in the second half of the year, but somehow, they play an Eagles team and they wind up dropping a pass or committing a penalty, and the next thing you know, it's a loss, and then there's another loss. But I want to say that they'll be close, but unfortunately, I think realistically, I think it's going to be closer to a top 10 draft pick, as difficult it is to admit that.
Okay, I got a couple more questions here, sis. We're going to have to do these quick, okay? Biggest disappointment second half. A, defense didn't come together until – what was the biggest disappointment in the first half? Defense didn't come together until last 3 games. All the injuries, not allowing all our playmakers on the field at the same time. Coaching decisions, play calling, clock management, all in one. O-line not fixed as promised, or Joe Judge treating first 3 games as extension the preseason?
Coaches and injuries.
I'm going to go, believe it or not, I'm going to go E, Joe Judge treating the first 3 games, because he did it last year, and look what happened. We fighting for a playoff spot in the last week, and we were hoping for the Eagles to win and Eagles to beat the Redskins, and we all knew what happened.
Right.
So I'm going to say that is mine. And Paul?
I'm going to say the O-line, because that has been the biggest concern for the last 4 years in Gettleman's regime. He's not fixed it. I can cite statistics how awful even some of our players are now, ranked so low. And it's just frustrating, because I think because of the bad offensive line, that's not allowed Jones to certainly rise to the level of what he possibly can be. And it's difficult to make a true judgment on how Jones actually is playing. So I'm going to say the O-line.
And then real quick, sis, most disappointing player first half. Mine's going to be Barkley. Not playing, he was supposed to, the injuries to Barkley. So who's your most disappointing player?
Will Hernandez.
Okay. And Paul?
With all due respect to our friend Carson, I'm going to say Kenny Golladay. I just thought he was going to come in here and just produce and be that go-to guy like a Plaxico when they got Plaxico for Eli. And he unfortunately just hasn't done it. I know he's been injured and everything, but even when he's played, he just hasn't been that big stud receiver that we thought he could be. So I'm going to say Golladay.
And he's saying Golladay too.
Last question, and then I'll read Paul's thing for the upcoming game real quick. Sis, what is the most important aspect of the Giants organization that needs to get done in the second half? A, stay healthy. B, improve the coaching decisions. C, have rookies and young players step up. D, Daniel Jones establish himself. And E, win games.
Coaches, decisions, young players. Again, they're all pros. Show that you're a pro. Show you're a professional.
I'm going to say stay healthy. We've been injury every year for the last how many years? So I'm going to say stay healthy. And Paul?
Probably a combination of all, but I would say I think Jones has to establish himself as a true NFL quarterback.
And Kurt, I'm going to read Paul's Tampa Bay, what he's got for Tampa Bay this real quick. Upcoming, our guys, we're playing Tampa Bay this week. What is there to say? This is Paul's notes. In Paul's words, what is there to say except Super Bowl champions, Monday Night Football, Tom Brady the GOAT. And if that was not enough, the Bucs lost 2 straight games. To put this in proper perspective, the last time Tampa Bay lost 3 straight games in a row in regular season was 2002, Brady's first full year as a starter for the Patriots.
Actually, it was
Wow.
Tom
To see the
Brady.
Giants have a tough challenge is an understatement. Listen, nobody gave the Giants a chance on February 3rd, 2008, when Tom Brady was on arguably the greatest team in history. While I'm not comparing this Giants team with the team that beat the Pats in Super Bowl 42, if they can get many of their injured players back and play a smart, disciplined, error-free game, they can compete with the Bucks. Hopefully, with 2 weeks to prepare, the Giants will be ready for this game. That's in the words of Mr. Paul Rosen. Real quick, let's do a prediction and then maybe final thoughts.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna say they get their third. I'm gonna be a homer. I'm gonna go Giants 27, Buccaneers 20. It's in Brady's head that he can't beat the Giants. Sis.
24-22 Giants.
Kurt.
Mr. Brady got embarrassed, played bad last week. That's bad news. I'm going to go 30. I'll go 31-20 Bucks.
And Paul, you get the
That's a
final
good
prediction.
Yeah, I hate to say this as a Giants fan, believe me, but watching that game last week down here, the Buck game was on, of course, and the madder I got watching Washington beat the Bucks, and I just said, this is not going to be good for us on Monday night. And that was before I researched and saw Brady hadn't lost 3 in a row for almost 2 decades. So I'm going to say something like 34-24, something like that, and it may not even be that close. So.
Man,
Keep in mind the weather's not going to be good in Jersey on Monday.
Well, no, it's in Tampa. It's in Tampa.
Down here.
It's down. My bad. I thought it was at Giant Stadium.
Yeah, it's in Tampa, and Manny's going 34-17 Bucks over the Giants.
I didn't know it was in Tampa. That's not good.
No.
Bucks are going to be hungry, Manny's saying. I agree. They're going to be hungry.
Brady's going to be hungry.
Paul, I know you always usually have something you might want to say to Kurt before we do final thoughts. If you had anything, or if we could just get into our final thoughts.
So if I can quickly do this, I did a special question for you guys, each specific question for you guys. If you have 2 more minutes.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's college football, and now that Cam Newton had re-signed with the Panthers, it got me thinking. I'm going to give each one of you a list of the 10 best quarterbacks who have played for your specific college, and I want each of you to pick out who you would think would be the best college quarterback on your specific teams. So, of course, Kurt, you with Auburn, Kenny, you with the U, and Sis, you with Alabama. All right,
Okay.
We'll start with Kurt for Auburn. Jarrett Sittem, Nick Marshall, Randy Campbell, Lloyd Nix, Vince Dooley, Stan White, Patrick Nix, Pat Sullivan, Jason Campbell, or Cam Newton. Who would you pick as the best Auburn quarterback of all time?
You know what? I mean, Pat Sullivan probably would have a lot of people saying he won the Heisman. I never saw him play, but I got to go Cam Newton. You know why? He's on this wall, and he got me my national championship in 2010, baby. Cam Newton.
Okay. Sis, and again, some of these players had Hall of Fame careers, but I'm just talking college. Mac Jones, Tua, Jalen Hurts, Jake Coker, A.J. McCarron, Greg McElroy, Richard Todd, Ken Stabler, Joe Namath, or Bart Starr.
Kenny Stabler, hands down, out of all of them.
Wow. Okay. Mr. Kenny, you, Ken Dorsey, Vinny Testaverde, Bernie Kosar, Craig Erickson, Steve Walsh, Jim Kelly, Gino Torretta, George Myra, Berlin, or Frank Costa.
I'll go Vinny Testaverde. College, yeah.
I think Frank Costa's still waiting tables down in Miami.
That's that. They're all those guys in those years. Walsh, Dorsey, you can put it there. But I'll go Vinny Testaverde, the Italian stallion.
Okay. From Vinny from Long Island, by the
There you
way.
go.
One more bonus question for you guys. Who was the better Wally Pipp? You guys know who Wally Pipp was?
Yep.
Okay. Who was the better Wally Pipp? Wally Pipp or Drew Bledsoe?
Bledsoe. My opinion.
I'll go Bledsoe too.
Sis?
Yeah, make that a sweep, Bledsoe.
Okay. All right. I mean, Lou Gehrig being maybe one of the great top 10 players of all time, but I guess we're talking about the GOAT, right?
I will never use those words, the GOAT, but I will say I'm going to pick him. But I will. We can have a 3-hour show on why Kurt's not picking him as the GOAT, and I will not say he's the GOAT. Briggsy, our great friend Briggsy, who passed away, Briggsy on Sports, he would argue with me tooth and nail. You're never going to hear it out of my mouth that he's the GOAT.
Okay.
Just won't happen, Kenny, right? Kenny, won't happen.
What happened? The Giants took care of him.
Twice.
That's right. We're going to take care of him Monday night.
That's the attitude.
Let's hope so.
All right, Mr. Kirkpatrick, final thoughts?
Yeah, let's do final thoughts. You do the order, Kurt.
All right, I will start with our guest, Paul Rosen. Paul, final thoughts of the week.
This was fun again. Monday night should be very interesting. We'll see what happens. I think hopefully if the Giants get their players back, Garrett runs an offense that's going to be a little inventive. And Daniel Jones's first win as a professional was down here in Tampa. I was at that game. Let's hope Tampa air is rarefied for him, and the Giants can come away with the win on Monday night.
Mr. Siciliano.
First of all, those kids coming on tonight was tremendous. Brought back a lot of good memories. Kenny brought this up to me yesterday. We were talking. I never even thought of it this way. Show you how good God is. Do you realize, Kurt? Me, you, Breslin, Andy Wynn, Coach Andolina would have never known each other if we all didn't go to Ramapo at the same time. I would have never known Kenny. You introduced me to Kenny or Mr. Briggs.
Yep.
So that's a little food for thought tonight, that God puts people together. There's things that are going through my mind all day. Guy's 59 years old. Why did you take him? I think you hit it on the head last night, Kurt. He's got a team up there. I want the best coach up there. Time to go home. That's my closing thoughts.
I'll go next, Kenny. You take it last. On a professional sports note and college sport notes, I'm fired up. We had a great show tonight. I am going to go watch the Knicks on one TV, and I'm going to watch my St. John's Red Storm at Indiana in another one tonight. So I will be fired up to do that. And I said it like I did last night, sis, and I mean it, because you nailed everything on the head. There must be some game going on. And he said, I need a head coach and I need a play caller. And there's no one better than Coach Drew Gibbs. So rest in peace,
Absolutely.
Coach Gibbs. We will be doing something shortly on Coach Gibbs. And listen, best coach in New Jersey, hands down. And rest in peace, Coach Gibbs. Mr. Kirkpatrick.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, good job, guys. Of course, thanks to Paul for coming on each week, and Joey Clams for being all fired up tonight. Got us going, and good job, Kurt, in getting James Merilatt from 104.3 out in Colorado, the fan, to join us at the beginning of our show tonight. You know, got me all fired up with Broncos.
Yeah, that guy was good.
No,
I
he's
like
good.
him.
He's awesome.
Great
Excellent.
guest. And,
Excellent.
You know, great job tonight with guests. And, you know, again, you know, rest in peace, Coach Gibbs. And, you know, I hope the Rampo team can go get a state championship for him.
Absolutely. All right, boys.
See everybody tomorrow.
Great job, Paul Rosen.
We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Thank you, Coach.